Welcome to the Hurrian Network, where we're connecting people through networking. And for today, we're going to continue off from our environment that we were building off of, right? And let's bring that up. Let's go into our network, okay? So the last thing we left off of was dealing with port fast, right? And bringing all of these access ports up, which is great and all. But now I want to ask you guys this, and this is something we have to think about here, all right? We see that all these computers, they're all connected to a specific port, right? But what happens if someone unplugs it and someone else tries to connect to that port? They'll be able to have connection to the switch as well too, right? And will we really want that for security measures, let's say? No, right? And this is why for today's video, we're going to continue off of this environment and actually go through the next thing, which is port security. And what port security basically is about is saying, okay, I can limit the amount of devices that I can connect to a port. And for example, let's say in our environment here, we only want to allow these specific computers to connect to the ports that they belong to, right? And even the laptop that we're using in order to remotely connect and to see what's going on and to configure something. So let's get right into it and let's connect with SSH. All right, and we're gonna log into this. Here we go, we can see that's good. All right, perfect. Now let's look into our running configuration. So we're gonna do show run. And with show run, we can see the things we've configured up to this point, right? We set up port fast. So on the same ports, we're going to set up port security. So that is from fast Ethernet 01 all the way up to 11, okay? And we have the switch, the VLAN interface set up for the switch. And to console in and well, not telnet, now SSH. It was telnet, but we disabled it, right? Okay, so let's go into the global config and let's specify for interface, we're going to do range. So we're going to do from fast Ethernet 0/1 all the way up to 11. All right, now let's do a question mark. So something I want to bring up before we get into implementing port security is that there is one condition that we have to make sure of any ports that's going to be configured with port security and a best practice to implement, which would be putting it as an access port in this case. We have to configure all of these ports, since computers are connecting to it, as access ports only specific for those computers to access, right? We can actually do it for trunking ports, but it kind of like is not, it doesn't have a point really to it, unless, let's say, if you're doing trunking between switches and you want to allow a specific limit of MAC addresses to be trunked over, but you're just limiting it, you know? So in that case, you don't really want to do that. It's more preferable to implement port security for access ports. All right, so now we're going to do switch port. Let's see, after switch port, we're going to set up to make sure that the switch port mode should be access right here. So switch port mode, access. And that's it. You can make sure, boom. All right, so, and I'm going to do this, save that up to this point. And if we check, And we can do a pipe and say, let's begin, or let's do the section of interface. All right, so we see here, this is basically me saying I want to just only show the section of the interfaces regarding what's been configured for in the running config that I saved, right? So now we see switch port mode access all the way up to 11, and the rest of them is not used, so nothing's configured, right? Okay, so now let's continue based off of that. So now the next command we're going to set is now we're actually going to do port security. And it's right here, we can see port security, right? So switch port, port dash security. Okay? And let's say enter first. We have to do that one first. And then we can bring that back up, go to a previous command, and we can just continue from here and see, okay, regarding this, well, we can set specific MAC address, how they're going to be learned. So let's do that. So MAC address. And there's two ways of doing it. The first way it's showing to actually type in the entire MAC address that you want for it to learn on the interfaces. But in this case, we don't want to go into the PCs to find out the MAC addresses and manually type them. So the other option, sticky, means that it will automatically learn those MAC addresses and put it in its record for port security that's associated with the port. So we want to do it like that. So let's just do that then. Sticky for all those ports, right? Okay. And then from there, we can specify what we want for the violation. So we're going to do violation, and let's do a question mark. So there's 3 different modes, and by default, by the way, it's always on shutdown when you implement port security, which means that if it gets violated, let's say whatever your maximum number of ports it's going to allow, if another computer goes in and it breaks that maximum amount within the port, basically that port is going to go down into an error disabled state, being shut down. And then you'd have to bring it back up. You'd have to actually shut it down administratively by doing shutdown on the port, and then have to do no shut to bring it back up. Okay. Now, the other ones, restrict. Restrict is basically going to do this. So let's say that if a PC does connect into a port and it's past the maximum amount for port security, it's not going to allow the traffic, but the port's not going to go down. And also, there's going to be logs within the switch and a violation counter that's going to keep adding up, basically saying that a violation is still happening. Someone's trying to access the network, and those logs are going to let you know that there's somebody that's trying to basically access it and they're not able to, right? And protect behaves similar to restrict in the sense that it will not shut down the port if there's a violation, but the difference is with restrict, you have logs on the switch to notify you what's going on. With protect, there isn't. So the only way you'd actually find out is if you actually do show commands related with port security to see what's going on, just to keep in mind. All right, so in this case, we're going to do shutdown. Even though that's the default, I don't have to type it, but I'll just show you anyways. This is how you basically set it up. And we're going to say OK. And then we're going to check switch port, port security. The next thing we're going to do is specify the maximum amount. The maximum by default, by the way, is 1. So we don't have to even type the command to set it up. But I'm just going to show you how it would be anyways if you want to type it. And it would be like this, and that's it. Okay. And then we're going to save this, all right? And now from here, we're going to test this out, okay? So let's see what happens, all right? Let's say that someone in the company just brings their laptop trying to connect, right? Okay. And let's give this an IP address as well too. So we're going to open up this laptop. Okay. We're going to give it an IP address to make sure it's in the same network. Let's just give it this. Give it a /24. That should be fine. All right. Just to get our point across. Okay. And now let's say instead we're going to plug this to this port. All right. So this port was, we can check right here. So this is number 10, right? Okay. So let's check our laptop and see what happens. Okay. Show let's see right here. How this came about. Let's make sure. It's supposed to give me a warning. All right. We're going to see what's going on. So now okay. All right, okay. I know the reasoning, I believe so. So actually, let's try this out now. We're just going to log in again. And let's see right here. Okay. All right, so yeah, you see, didn't learn anything yet. So we can check right here with show port security. All right. We can save an interface if we want to see specific interface. Oh, we have to specify the interface right here, pardon me. Or you got to specify, or you can say address. Okay, so we see that mine is learned, right? Let's just do mine for an example. Okay, and that'll be my MAC address of this PC we can see right here. And we can just find that out from just going through the config. And we can see that my MAC address is right here, right? So, but the other way we can obviously know about it is if I just do this. Oh, pardon me, that's my IP only. I gotta do /all. And we should see my MAC address right here. That's the same MAC address, okay? Because I'm communicating on the switch, and I connected to it using SSH, so it learned it, right? So now let's go back. Okay. Cool. So now if we do again, show port, security, You see, maximum secure address, import max is 1. It learned the 1 here. So let's exit now, okay? Let's do this one as an example. And we can close this. Let's say we shut down the computer. And now let's connect this laptop in. And if I try to connect to it, it shouldn't be working. So let's see. Supposed to shut down. Let's see the reason why. It learned the MAC address. Okay, now it learned this MAC address. Strange. Okay. All right. Let's try to go back. Oh, yep, now it's affecting, you see? But the point was I wanted it to be the other laptop and not this one. But we can see here the connection timed out. We can see the port has been down, right? And now let's go back to here and try to connect to it. And we wouldn't be able to because it's down, right? And we can see that. So we're going to have to go on a different port now. Let me set up this port to be connected to number 12, okay? It's going to take time since it's a new port, nothing's been configured on it. It's going through the spanning tree process. Then afterwards, I will connect to this switch once the port's up. So now it's up, okay? Let me connect right now. Okay, so let's go into that interface. It's interface, okay? We're gonna shut it, okay? And then we're gonna say no shut. All right, and let me all right. since it did not work out the way I wanted it to work out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the oh, I'm already in the interface, pardon me. I'm going to change the MAC address and actually type this specific MAC address right here. So let's go into config. We're going to copy that. Okay. I'm going to right click and paste that here. Okay, it said it found this duplicate MAC address. So we can see if it did. So let's say show port security, and we're going to say address. Oh, because we're in global config, the interface global config I have to do. Okay. Okay, so it learned both of them, and let's put the max. We can do this too. And then you can just say the max for 2, but you see it got shut down. But now if we try this again, let me go to 11. Now it's back up because we brought it back up. So we can check now. Oh, pardon me, I didn't take that in. So now I just show and see here. I changed it to make sure the maximum is 2, total MAC address is 2, and it says 1 is sticky MAC address that it automatically learned, which was the other laptop right here, this laptop right here. Another way to make it learn it, if you're going to communicate on a network, you ping a network device like another computer, or let's say the switch itself, or even another like device like a router, let's say, whatever the case may be. Then obviously the MAC address would be learned on the port, it'll be in the MAC address table, it'll be kept in record for port security. So then it'll know what's going on, and if the violation will occur, obviously, if it reaches more than the limit that's allowing, right? Okay, now let's say that we wanted to change this into, let's do interface, we're going to do FA10, okay? And we're going to say switch port dash security, and we're going to say the violation, we're going to put to restrict, okay? And we're going to go to that computer, and we're going to do a ping to make sure if it can reach the switch, okay? There we go. So if that's the case, it should learn it. And we can check on the switch now. All right. Let's see. Maximum MAC address is 1, total 1, sticky MAC address is 1. It learned it, right? See, the reason why I was not working before is I forgot to go on the actual computer and to communicate on the network for the switch to learn the MAC address, right? Just to keep that in mind. And in this case here, we see that it's learned. So let's say that we try to connect it to the switch. Let's see what's going to happen. And we're going to ping. It shouldn't allow it. As you can see, it's not able to connect. Request timed out. Request timed out again. All the pings are failing because the limit is 1 on that port and it already learned the MAC address of the computer that was connected to it. And now we see all of them have been lost. So if we actually check let's try to do that again. Let's check the interface. Yeah, you see the security violation counts keep going up. Because this is restrict mode, that's what's going to happen. But usually you should be able to see a log as well too, specifying that something has been happening. Okay, and let's do the last example. And let's use 0/9, okay? And let's change the port security mode for that to protect for the violation, okay? But we noticed for number 10, we connected it. The port's it's fine, it's connected, it's not down. But I'm still not able to access the network. And let's make sure this computer, it learns this MAC address. Okay, so we can see right here, it's going to go through the ping, request timed out from ARP. It's trying to find the MAC address, IP, association, the mapping, but the other ones were successful, right? Okay, so that means that everything's good. So if you do this again, all of them will be fine now. And we can see that. All right, so it should have learned this. And we can check that interface. It is 09. We can see here, protection is the mode. It learned, total MAC address is 1, MAC address is, the max is 1. The sticky MAC address automatically learned it right here, right? Okay, so that looks good. Now, from here, actually let's connect this back to where it's supposed to belong to. And now, let's connect this one over here. It looks like it's fine, right? Let's see. Are we able to access this port with this laptop? We shouldn't be able to. You can see request timed out. Let's see the next ones if it's going to be the same thing. Request timed out. All right, again, request timed out. And the next one will be the same thing, request timed out. So they're all going to fail. So I'm not able to reach the switch. Okay. You see this one though, the security violation count is still 0. It just was not able to get into it. But the one that was restrict over here for number 10, we can see the security violation count is 8. It increases every time someone tries to access the port that they're not supposed to access it, because they don't have, the MAC address is not allowed, basically. All right. It says secure up, so that means the port status is still up, same as this one. But then the one that, let's say that it shuts down, you're going to see that saying as an error disabled state. Something to keep in mind, okay? And that's pretty much it when it comes to this. So if we put this back to where it belongs and we ping from here, it should be fine because it knows that, it allows that, you see? And if we check this one as well too, this one's also fine. And we can see that as well too. So that is port security right there. And that's all I have for this video. So now you're able to understand how to implement port security, the different violations, what happens, and seeing the big picture of, why we would need it or use it. So you got to be very cautious of implementing this in your network. Best practice is to apply it on your access ports if you want to limit the amount of devices to connect to a specific switch port. And that's all I got to say for today. And for anybody that's subscribed to my channel, I've appreciated it and liked and commented and has been supportive throughout my journey. And if you do like this video, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you know people that are in IT, that are in networking, that's interesting to learn, interested in learning about this, let them know about this channel as well too. I would appreciate it. And until next time, peace. Take care.